bitch.
Well, I went back in time and I got my hair. Went back in time and got my Steelers Nation Australia headband. We'll get you some like high socks. We'll get you some like these shorts.
Hey,
You're standing up.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's like balls of fury.
So when JJ52 says, will Ray Gun make the 53? No, she's cut.
If you're not going to take Ray Gun, I know a place in Western Pennsylvania where she'll fit right in. Right at the cookie table at a wedding.
She could be my second string long
Call her
snap.
Dr. Cookie or the Dr. Get Down and tell her that she has a PhD in Get Down. Like, play the music,
You know what? If she'd had some bling, and looked like LL Cool J and Mama Gonna Knock You Out, she might have won.
And we're back, Steelers Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. And also welcome back to Steelers Dynasty Podcast. It only felt like yesterday we were here talking about all things Steelers and all free agent news, all that kind of stuff. But today we're going to talk about quarterbacks. And I'm going to bring in two blokes who are specialized in quarterbacks and quarterback news. What's happening, Bubba?
No, not much. I'm ready. I'm so excited. 2 days in a row. And as right now, we still don't have a quarterback.
I know. How are you, Shano? What's going on? I think you're muted, though.
Who, me?
He's muted. He's got it. Here we go.
So I'm unmuted. So check it out. All I've been doing the past hour and a half is just watching different feeds from different news agencies. They don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, is it going to be the old guy or are we going to get a new guy? We're
still going to get a new guy no matter what. Old
well,
young,
is the new guy going to be 41 or is he going to be 23? That's a big difference.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We can still have the old guy that's old.
The old new guy.
Old guy that has played prior.
Well, if you get the oldest guy, he's like 41, and that's old. Like the quarterback.
Old.
That's like something out of a movie where he comes back. He's like, oh, give me a chance. I'll jump in and save the town or something. Like, we don't need that.
I want to know if Aaron Rodgers has one of those grabbers. Grabbers?
Well, they are helpful.
I think when you hit 40, that's an automatic. You get one of those. You don't bend over. You just kind of use the grabber.
Yeah, I just don't know what's his thought process. He left from the Jets, right? He's like, no, the Jets cut him. All right, or did he want to go? So why do we want someone who's been cut and had a bad last 2 seasons? I just think it's dumb. I think overall it's stupid.
Here's the thing though. He's going to be on his best behavior because he wants to win a ring. I mean, he wants to.
Didn't he want to win something in New York too?
What's that?
Didn't he want to win something in New York besides Broadway tickets?
He knew he couldn't win in New York. Now no one wins in New York for the Jets. I mean, you go there for a paycheck. My God, Robert Rhodes is right. Check it out. 10 last 10 games through 18 touchdowns. Come on.
That's pretty good though. That's pretty good.
So 18 TDs or 4 interceptions, but still, I still go back to wins as well. The team was, was bad, but they won 4 games. I just think he's so slow. Like Steelers don't need a quarterback that's 41 and slow. At least give Russell Wilson a chance who can be 38 and half pace.
Well,
we just with the battle of old quarterbacks coming. Who would have thought we would have been here, Bubba? The Steelers really have.
Well, I didn't.
Shit the bed since Big Ben, haven't they? Really, not to be too negative, but they have.
Well, and you're never negative like that. You're never. I just don't. I've never seen this before where we don't have. We need 2 quarterbacks besides one. We need a number 1 and a number 2, and that has never happened before. This is these are uncharted waters, as I will say, and I'm hoping by tomorrow something has to. I mean, it has to give something.
Well, technically tomorrow is when the first free agent day begins.
4:00 Wednesday. 4:00 Wednesday. So
this is like the initial tampering period with the leaks come out and teams are the 48 hours before, and then it's the technical side tomorrow happens. So and they'll be on your guys' show hopefully when you guys go live tomorrow at 9.
God, I hope so. At 9:00, we might have to do a quarterback dance if we get it. It'd be great.
Hey,
I wonder what that look. What does it look like?
I don't know.
there,
I,
there's
I
there
don't
is a
know.
report I just saw go across, guys. Listen to this.
Don't
I
tell
know
me.
this is from came out 12 hours ago. NFL rumors: Mike Tomlin effectively forcing Pickens out as Steelers. Man, yep.
Keep going. Let's break
going.
this down.
Now, boasting an impressive 4-year, $33 million per year, cements DK Metcalf as a focal point of Tomlin's Steelers passing game. However, the spotlight is now on Metcalf. A pressing question remains: what's next for Pickens?
Where is that from, though? What source is that from?
That is from Essentially Sports by Namish Monga.
Oh,
I don't know. See, the thing is, they in that source, right? It says Mike Tomlin said.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have. Mike Tomlin probably never said that.
Yeah, he didn't say that, but
they're just using Mike Tomlin's voice or Mike Tomlin's name just to say that he said that.
That would be official.
Now, we talked about yesterday where there could be a possibility of Pickens being pushed out, right? Could be a possibility, right? But yeah, I want to welcome everyone in the chat too. It's G'day 99 with the great music. Thank you. G'day George T. Pepper. And also, if you guys are on Steelers Dynasty podcast as well, they're on 321 subs. Go check them out. G'day George T. G'day Toddy. G'day Robert. G'day George T on your side. G'day the podcast is yours. G'day Jedevil. So welcome everyone at 8 in the chat, 20 in the chat right now. I wanted to go through just a quick summary of what happened yesterday. And I'll give a big shout out to this guy on Twitter because he made these two slides there. Yeah, Steelers free agency tracker via Steelers update online. I think it's like he made that and put it together. So shout out to him or her. But basically, Justin Fields went to the Jets. Najee, as Bubba said, wasn't too impressed with that. He went to the Chargers.
I'm still mad about that. I am.
Yeah. With Najee? Even though you like, did you? I always thought he was going. I didn't think Steelers would bring him back. I like the player.
I was holding on. I was holding on the edge. Like I was like the guy from Die Hard on the skyscraper. I was holding on. What was his name? The bad guy?
I don't know.
Bad guy Shane?
That's a great movie, by the way. Die Hard's a great movie.
Yeah, I was hands when Gruber. I was hanging there, and then I fell down.
What about in the chat? They're talking about Mason Rudolph. That was kicked around on the fan.
Yeah, we'll definitely get there today because there's been a report. Source is DK Sports. Over in Pittsburgh, and he's one of the guys that knows everyone over there. So
the Ravens right now just signed DeAndre Hopkins for a 1-year deal. The Ravens.
Yeah, but they always do that. They always sign the old receiver. Happens all the time. I'm not scared of him.
I'm not scared of him either.
He's not bad, but
I wish the Steelers would have tried to get him last year.
Yeah, but he's what now? What is he? 30 something? Hopkins? I don't know what he is. Is he older? He's older receiver for sure.
I mean, he won a
because he signed with the Chiefs, right? Yeah. 32. Yeah, still, the Ravens always do things like that. Now, Shane, we're definitely getting to Mason Rudolph in a minute, but I wanted to just go through these things. But yeah, Bubby said you were a bit cut about that, the Chargers. And we can talk about Justin Fields too as well. Like, I wanted Justin Fields to be here because he was a younger quarterback and see what would happen over 2 or 3 years. Obviously, he chose more money with the Jets. And you know what? What did you say, Shane? Or that you go the Jets to die? And like, there's no chance over there, right? Do you think he's got a chance over there with the Jets?
The Jets, for some reason, they must have a curse or something because they just can't get it together. Don't understand it. They have great fan bases. They're rabid, but just can't put a team together. And
he might not be the franchise guy. He's just a 2-year stopgap. I'm like, I think some Steelers fans on the internet are a bit really cut about not getting Fields, but I think once we find the quarterback, whoever it is, we should feel okay. I just thought they would have went Fields because he was a younger option. Obviously, the money didn't match. Jalen Warren signed his tender for $5 million for 1 year, so that's like a prove it kind of thing. And then maybe Warren gets a possible extension at the end of the year to see how Warren plays out. He was injured this year too. Are you pretty happy with that, Bubba, bringing back Warren?
I'm okay. I wanted to see them both come back. Najee, Warren, and then draft a late round running back. And I was okay with that. 3 running backs, I'm good.
Yeah, Daredevil says here $20 million a year for Fields is too much anyway. That's maybe they're just playing the money, they're just got to figure things out. And we will talk about Rogers a potential money. It's like $45 million a year or something. I don't know.
That's too
Anyways,
much.
So we had Dan Moore Jr. He got a big pay packet. So you got the Titans. The Steelers were never bringing him back because they have depth behind him. So shout out to Dan Moore. Please, those Steeler fans, don't be those guys. If Dan Moore gets better, then you bag out the Steelers after, because players are meant to get better. It always happens. It happened with who's the other guy? Kevin Dotson. They wanted him out. He did really good. Oh, we should have kept him.
Sometimes it's a system too.
Correct, and you're meant to get better. Except if you're Trubisky, every single player except Trubisky, you get better. Or Matt Canada, right? So I'll give him a big shout out to Dan Moore Jr. What goes to Titans, so that's a new career for him.
So out of that list, Mark, who would you keep?
Who would I have kept?
Yeah. Who would you keep right now? That's still available right now. Who would you keep?
Oh, out of that, easy. Yeah. Russell Wilson, sign it up, bang, get a quarterback.
Okay.
No, I'd probably say depending, Russell Wilson or I'd probably say Russell Wilson to bring him back and finally have a quarterback, or bring back Ben Skoranek as well.
Okay, that's two.
I'd say one of those two blokes. But yeah, then we had Ryan McCollum. Is the center. So every time I do it, they cover Shane up. I'm like, see ya.
Who would you pick, Shane?
Wait.
Who would you pick? if you had
Russell Wilson. I agree. Russell Wilson, keep him and just draft somebody. What's the worst could happen? You're 10 wins again.
Well, here I would sign Wilson, and you know what? I wouldn't sign Keenan Allen because you could get somebody in the draft maybe, or free agent. I would sign Ben Skoranek, and then I would sign Nate Herbig
for backup.
And
yeah,
and
they could do that as well.
Mike Williams cheap. If you could get Mike Williams cheap, I would sign him cheap.
Yeah,
I think he was untapped potential.
100%. I want to give a big shout out to some of the guys on Steelers Dynasty podcast, because I'm the host of this show, running both shows. But Bubba and Shane are Steelers Dynasty podcast. Z is a new name that I've saw, so make sure Z you click the subscribe button if you want to.
Yeah, please.
To the Steelers Dynasty podcast, and there were a few other names in there too. Hey, you don't know why?
No, we'll get why.
Oh, I thought you don't know why.
Wow, I hope so.
And Cutter. New name to me, and maybe that might be not a new name to you guys. Kata Burra Warrior?
Yeah, he's been on before. They've been on before.
Okay, excellent. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, just give you guys a shout out, because I see them with a little signal on my side to say that's on your channel at the moment. So it's good that we can cross both paths.
We're like Ghostbusters. We're like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But no, I'd probably I've got another list too, by the way, to get through. But yeah, I'd probably say they got to sign a quarterback, and then we'll talk about that soon with Russell Wilson. Kyle Allen could be third, but there's now rumors about Mason Rudolph coming back. I wouldn't mind Nate Herbig to be back up, or Ben Skoranek to play teams at that part. But obviously the Steelers are letting players go and then going in a different direction. So I got another list too to bring up was the other side, and thanks to Steelers update on Twitter, we had Larry Ogunjobi's been released. I think Smith has been released too, so they're finding out where he's going. We brought in Malik Harrison. He was the fourth rotational, I think, linebacker on our system right now. Atlanta Roberts on a 1-year deal. What are your thoughts about that, Bubba? Atlanta Roberts. A lot of people are not too happy about that.
I'm not happy because he was a great run stopper.
He was. Yeah, he was. What about you, Shano?
He's tagged up with Spillane.
Yeah, I'm some of these are head scratchers, but it's all we're sitting here, we don't have the whole picture. It's like we're looking through like a peephole. What are they looking at in the draft? Who are they talking to?
Yeah, it's hard to make comments, right? Like the full picture comment of like being so angry because we haven't got I get what you're saying.
And you got to look at what who's available. Like where the
went somewhere else. I'm sorry.
Who's going to be available? If they're targeting someone that is in that position, I don't know. You just don't know what the hell's going on. Last year, they made some big splash moves. This year, it looks like that big splash is coming. Like the wave is coming, and
Well, no, the splash was DK Metcalf. That was the tidal wave.
Yeah,
that's the tidal wave, Shane.
Yeah, Metcalf is like the first. Well, we're just waiting for another one to come through. So let's.
I think we've been very occupied by the QB talk because we haven't got one, which is the main part of your team. But the big splash was DK Metcalf, but we can't really enjoy that yet.
He came without a quarterback. Like, I'm going to go sign with Pittsburgh for 5 years, $150 million, and I don't know who the hell's going to throw me the ball. I don't even care.
I still think there's something with Wilson. Has to be
because his agent is not going to put him in a position
for no one to be there.
DK is not going to put himself in a position.
But that's the biggest. I believe that's the biggest signing ever in free agents history. I believe with the Steelers.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I seen before we went on live that they're restructuring TJs. They're extending TJs for $106 million, an extension.
What, TJ? What?
Yes, I seen it.
Where'd that come
from?
Oh
God, I don't know. It was through my phone.
Yeah, this is why we haven't got. We need our sources. I just saw that. Yeah,
in the house. Believe that shit. Bubba.
Okay.
What's that?
Jeff Booth is in the house.
Oh, I know, because Booth called me today. He's like, I can't get on. He had a whole bunch of comments. Jeff. Okay, he had some comments, and he wanted us to, read them out, and he wanted our thoughts on them. So now he's on. I told him to subscribe.
Bring him in. Bring him in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, for being on their side, Steelers Dynasty podcast.
Jacob just signed with the Cardinals, so that's a quarterback.
Yeah. This guy. Yeah. This guy. This guy's going to be a Cardinal. Back up to Kyler Murray.
I would have took him as a backup.
Yeah, same. But we still don't have any, so we are running out of ideas.
So who do you think they signed on this second list? Who do you think they'd sign on that second list?
Ooh. You know what? To be honest, it could be no one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just putting it out there. Shane, what do you think?
I don't see anybody. Maybe Larry. I see Loudermilk. That's the only person I see because Obachobi, they cut him. Unless they can get him like real cheap, Shane, they're not going to pay him that. So Loudermilk because they need some depth at the.
Ogunjobi's done. He's been cut. He's been released.
Unless nobody takes him and he comes back for like $3 million instead of $9 million. But he's.
I feel like if he's cut, they'll go to the draft. I think they kind of moved on from him.
I would just say Loudermilk and
the only other guy.
I like Tyler Malikevich.
He could be teams. They could be signing a small deal with Jeremiah Moon to be backups back up. I don't know.
And
possibility. They're not bringing back Sutton. They're not bringing back. I don't think Henderson or I think Casey's time up.
Well, Henderson wasn't a first round pick and never got to where he got to be. Wasn't he a number one pick?
No playing time for me. I didn't think he had any playing time. He was like on the practice squad, so
maybe he didn't get that opportunity. I don't know.
Some of these blokes have just been around. They've been getting 1 year deals, like James Pierre, like I liked, but they're not bringing back Sutton. That's not happening. And maybe they're just going out and getting new pieces, not just
Well, it's going to be something because we need defensive linemen and we need secondary help because all them guys we lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got plus. We lost 5, so we got Slay. So we're minus.
That hasn't been official yet, though. That one has not been official. I guess some of them are all not really official until tomorrow. But I think Darius Slay hasn't actually been released. I don't know, but that has been a talk. The Slay is coming in for 1 year. Yeah, Dante Jackson went to the Chargers with Najee. Cameron Sutton, I don't think they bring him back.
No.
James Beard, he'd have to be the special teamer / like third or fourth cornerback. Henderson, I didn't see him play too much, even though he was a high.
He was a practice guy, and he
practice guy. And DeMonte Casey was always that third role at safety. Like, anyone stand out for you, Shane, that they have to have back? Like,
no one just stands. And here's the thing, guys. These guys pretty much have to go look for a job because right now the Steelers, the staff are sitting there with their phone plugged in, and it's just this next 24 hours is just going to be.
Oh, this is going to be like Monopoly,
crazy
till 4 o'clock. It's going to be
the game never ends.
Yeah, it's never going to end till
and someone gets mad and throws it up in the air. Is what you're saying?
Well, I think they're at 4:10. At 4:10, probably most of the people is going to be taken off the board. Like everybody's going to be signed by 5 o'clock.
Now,
Jeff's saying, Tommy's saying here, Kazi would be vet experience, and I like Kazi. I think they could bring him back as well, but
in a
I don't know if
package
it's a big.
deal.
If it's not a big move, is it?
But if they pay him $1 million or $2 million, then you bring him back for $1 million or $2 million. He's not going to get big money.
No,
I think they signed him last time for like $3 million. So at $2 million, you'd pay him for. Because we need practice. We need people to. We need secondary schematics. We need like nickel. And somebody gets hurt. At least because he got some.
And we still have a lot of time as well. Like the Steelers can also, approach other free agents and other cornerbacks in the, that have been cut by teams or that are trying to be that are free agents or go through the draft. So I'm not too worried in that sense. I am more fellas. I am a bit, as Tommy says, we're in QB purgatory. Like I'm a bit worried about this situation.
Never before.
Well, the question
I'd take Bobby Brister right now if we could take him.
Now, would you take Mason Rudolph back?
Yes.
That's a good segue, Shane. Well, let's get rid of this one.
I would love that.
Get rid of that.
Talk about that.
Bring us back to. Hang on. Let us put us back to this point. Oh, tree. Oh boy.
Hey, I'm in the middle. Monkey in the middle.
I don't like being too close, though. I feel like I'm really close. That's like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
All right. So there's been a report now to get your guys' feedback. There was from DK Sports. He had apparently had a phone call saying the Steelers have reached out to Mason Rudolph to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, that would mean probably be QB2. However, we're going to discuss if it's good for QB1 or good for QB2. So I'll start with you first, Shane. What about bringing back Mason Rudolph just for a quarterback, just to have someone in the room?
A warm body to keep you
just someone.
Just get you by. No, guys. I would say if they keep Russell Wilson, definitely Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph looked okay that one game. We're really
it was fun. He played the last 3 games, got us to the playoffs. It was a fun ride. It was Rudolph saved Christmas, except for the last game.
Yeah,
it'd be cheaper than any other option. He'd be economically sound besides any other option. He could start. He could start. They could sign him back, and he could start, and then we take a rookie quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm not too sure
where I'm going.
I'm not too sure if the Steelers fans would like Mason Rudolph starting. I think it would be good to have him back with the organization. But as we know, Mason Rudolph has been thrown around a few times saying you can't be QB1, you're QB3. Hasn't been dealt the best hand, I think, in terms of that.
He's got a stronger arm than Wilson.
I tell you what, if Mason Rudolph, if he is meant to be upset or pissed off the organization, money fixes that. Money. If you give him a nice contract and he comes back and sits on the 2-year contract, I wouldn't mind having him back. I wouldn't mind having him Kyle Allen back. But the Steelers did reach out to Mason Rudolph, apparently. So, do you think that's a chance, Bubba, that he comes back to QB2?
If he could be QB1, he really could. Like, he knows the system, and now he has weapons. Like, now he has DK Metcalf and George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth. I mean, and he has a stronger arm, and if he had some pass protection, look, if he got, all he's got to do is get us into the playoffs, and Devil's right. At this point, he's cheaper than any option that we have between Russell and Aaron Rodgers. And he's that gap, which he probably should have been anyway. And he got a raw deal because a lot of people, when he left, they were like, oh, he got a raw deal. I wish Mason would have got a better deal. And everybody, even we were all on the Mason
There was a
wagon.
time, there was a time, I think, that playoff run, a lot of the fan base was like, we want to bring him back for next year.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather had him be number 1 than Kenny Pickett. If that was
I'd rather have Rudolph have a chance to, come back and be number 1 as well, than Aaron Rodgers because he's just older. He can't move as well.
Mason will not be he won't be throwing people under the bus. He won't be negative. He won't be on Pat McAfee's show Tuesday like, well, Tomlin told me to do this, and I was going to do that. Football. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
everybody loves Rudolph. That's right. Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody loves Rudolph. I think he gets a bad case sometimes, like because he's really just known as a guy as QB2. So could the Steelers make him break out of that? That would be a big transition. But Shane, do you think Rudolph could be QB1?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, is he gonna take you to the Super Bowl? I doubt it. But can he get you in the playoffs? I think so.
Hey,
So,
Brad Johnson took teams to the Super Bowl.
you know,
Brad Johnson's now working in a goddamn car wash,
well,
probably.
look at this is this ties in with the name that we shouldn't talk about, and that would be Aaron Rodgers, right? But Mason Rudolph is like a Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was just like, eh. Then he went to Arizona and he lit them up. He lit the Steelers up. If it wasn't for
Yeah, it was
James
a
Harrison,
great season for him.
He also won a Super Bowl with the Rams, though, too.
Anything can happen. So Kurt Warner is, in my opinion, Mason Rudolph could be the next Kurt Warner for all you know.
I think Mason. I don't think Ben gave Mason or any other quarterback any type of good graces. There was no quarterbacks when Ben was around. It was, hey, let's go out and hang out and eat. Or that wasn't happening. Ben wasn't doing that. Like, he did a video the other day. He had his helmet on. He's like, "Oh, put me in, coach. I got George Pickens and DK and Pat Fryermuth." Like, dude, just throw balls to your kids. Do your footballing, because don't try to get your stuff in, because it ain't gonna happen.
But here's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna go on. This might be another segment, but just hear me out. In order for a Mason Rudolph or a Russell Wilson or whoever the F they put in, that's not a last name Manning or Montana or Bradshaw or Roethlisberger, they have to get a good defensive coordinator, a guy that is like Dick LeBeau. You have to have that shored up, just stout defense. Now, Steelers had it for first half of the year, and then they went, I don't know, they got hurt. I don't know. All kinds of shit happened. Hurt feelings. They just weren't there the second half. You can't have that type of team and win if you don't score more than 21 points and have the best defense in the NFL. And I think through the draft, and if TJ has a great season and you got that offense, that gets you up past that 21 point, hopefully, fingers crossed. You can plug and play, a so-so NFL quarterback in there.
But Shane, let me ask you, even besides TJ Watt playing TJ Watt football, when he's in the lineup, they're great. When he's not, but also too, the Steelers' run defense can't stop anybody, and that has been the kryptonite for for the last couple years.
No, there's no big fella in the middle. There's no Casey Hampton, and like Steve Steele 443 said, they got figured out. On Ryan Clark's podcast, they talked about, the Steelers never do this. On what's that? Jesus, name slipping me. The guy who played for the Patriots, a little white guy. He has his podcast.
Edelman.
Edelman, yeah, Jason Edelman. He even said, the Steelers on third down are going to do X, Y, and Z. That was 10 years ago. They're still doing it. They haven't changed. They're predictable. You have to get a defensive coordinator. Get frickin' Mike Tomlin's dick beaters off the defense and just start.
But honestly, Shane, I agree with you. But they're not going to get another coordinator, because Terrell Austin, that was a chance to get somebody, because getting embarrassed for 299 yards against their hated rival, the Ravens, they should have signed some defensive linemen. Like our run defense is non-existent, and that is what's keeping us out of a lot of games. Definitely the playoff hunt. Like, I didn't see him getting 300 yards. Like, come on. And Hargraves got signed. He got signed somewhere, so he's not coming back.
He's gone, so he's out. So, yeah, Mason Rudolph's stats aren't too bad. This is his record 9-8, 84.7 passer rating, 63% passing yards, 4,600. And this is games he's played, starting. 28 TDs and 20 interceptions. I'm not saying he could be like an all-time Super Bowl champion, but the Steelers might bring him back in a chance to be QB2, and then, of course, QB1 does loom. But why not run him back and bring him back to the organization if he's happy to do so? because he's a free agent, and that would to me would make sense. And then
Yes.
there was talk now that saying if Aaron Rodgers does get signed the 1 year, then Mason Rudolph would be 2. But Aaron Rodgers is not playing 17 games. He's going to be injured or hurt his ankle or something like that. So you almost do need a QB number 2. We're worried about QB1. So if Rudolph reports are
We got to get 2.
correct,
We got to get
which
2.
they are, DK is saying that the Steelers reached out to him to possibly be QB2 or in their system. I think that's a good move to bring him back, because that was pretty fun to watch him go on that mad run before the playoffs, and then we versus the Bills in the snow, and then we lost that game. But yeah, like you're right, Shane. Like he doesn't need to be a well beater, but if he's like Kurt Warner with the Arizona Cardinals, has a great year and turns things around, and he doesn't play the same way that Rodgers does. Like, oh, I'm all about me, and it's like I'm throwing my team under the bus and all these kind of things. Like, I think that would be a better fit for the Steelers and Steelers fans to get behind. That is Rudolph, but then we're still without QB1. That's the situation we're in. You know,
as long as he doesn't cost games. As long as Mason Rudolph doesn't cost games, that's what Tomlin wants. He doesn't want a quarterback to cost him a game. He doesn't want it because we're very conservative on offense. We're not a high-powered. I mean, the only time we were truly high-powered when we had to kill their bees and they were scoring at will, and they could. We cannot do that now. We have to work down the field. Maybe a play here and there that we get a long touchdown, but realistically, it's a lot of time off the clock and a lot of offensive plays. We're just not a high-powered offense.
This is a good question. Pepper says here, stats can say whatever you want them to. Doesn't mean they're going to be good, fellas. And then Jedova says, who do you want, Pepper? And I'm to move on that point. There's not many quarterbacks left. Everything's kind of moving out and going away with other people signing it elsewhere, or you go to the draft. And the Steelers probably do need to go and get someone before the draft. You can't go in the draft with no one, can you, Bubba?
No, my God, no. I'll be going walking outside in front of my house across traffic if that happens.
Yeah, that's it.
It's already been crazy as it is, because we still need you need 2 quarterbacks to win anything, because I remember when the 49ers were in the championship game and Christian McCaffrey was the quarterback because all of them got hurt. Like,
yeah, all of them got hurt.
You can't have that. And at that time, that was crucial because they could have probably went to the Super Bowl, and it did not happen.
I guess it is one thing that we have here. Out of all the positions, there's just no one there, and it's just quite funny how the Steelers are taking their time to do it. They didn't reach out to Russell Wilson or Fields to get the job done before.
If there was somebody in the draft, because all this trade and compensatory picks and stuff, because I read an article next year, they have all these compensatory picks. They can trade, and they can trade up and get a quarterback and take George Pickens or somebody, make a trade, do something that, and then have a lot of picks and then trade those compensatory picks next year to move up in the first round to grab a quarterback next year. So they would trade George Pickens, get all those picks, and then use those picks to trade to move up the draft next year.
Yeah, and when Shane talked about that yesterday, you can't have 2 dogs in the room like what's his name? Pickens and the other bloke, DK.
DK, yeah.
Yeah, so
they're going to have to learn to work together if they don't trade them.
Yeah, at the same time.
Who's going to cover? Who's going to cover both?
And you know, Pickens isn't taking DK to DQ to get a blizzard and big buddies. That shit ain't happening. You know, or the
it could though. It could.
You never know.
He'd be like, "Hey, George, you're my boy. I'm going to show you the ropes on how to be. Instead of being a knucklehead, I'm going to show you. You always put 150% in every play, because when I chased down Baker, I was running full tilt and he didn't know I was coming. And you never quit on a play. He could tell him that. I'm okay with that.
I tell my dog not to shit under my
Is your dog shit dead?
But about once a month, that little dog goes over there, does it, you know? So yeah, George Pickens, unless you're rubbing his nose in it, he's not going to get it.
Fair enough. You've been pretty strong on that standpoint last 48 hours. And that could be a possibility where you can't have 2 dogs in a fight like that. But I think it's really fun to imagine having DK on one side, Pickens on the other, and then Roman Wilson, these guys, and Calvin Austin would be punt return specialist, and also, third down, fourth receiver.
Our offense is high powered now.
Yeah, DK and GB, the new W boys.
Pickens, get the table.
Yeah.
Who's going to cover them? Who is going to cover them in the AFC North? It's not going to be the goddamn Cincinnati Bengals because they suck.
You have to have two shut down quarterbacks, and teams
they don't
have one,
right?
And then another guy that's just a run stopper.
And that's where you got Pat Fryermuth getting balls, man. They can't cover all three. They can't cover Austin Austin. They can't cover Wilson out of the backfield. They can't cover everybody.
Steel 43.
This offense, it could be good.
Yeah, Steel 43. Yesterday, I went on a tangent about that. So watch yesterday's episode.
Yeah.
I don't think, I'll say it again. I don't think Pickens is going to be here this year. You're not going to have two guys to throw to, just saying. I think they're going to draft a receiver somewhere in the third, fourth round. I just don't think Pickens. I think they're going to utilize Pickens and maybe get something for him. But
I think this could be like the mega powers. I'm telling you.
So on one side we've got the duo, the tag team for Bubba, and Shane saying, "Nah, it's too many dogs in the fight. One has to go." That being Pickens. Well, I can see both. I can see both conversations.
LeBron, the Lakers got Duka. I call him Duka. Luka. They got Luka, and they have LeBron, and they still got their ass beat by the Celtics. You can have two. Sometimes is too many. You know what I'm saying?
I guess it depends on the development too of Roman Wilson as well. And maybe if they were to go and sign, if the Steelers went and signed another receiver vet or another, like a Cooper Kupp, then possibly there's too many receivers there. Maybe then George Pickens could be on the way out. Would that work, Shano? Would you have Kupp?
Cooper Kupp can play as a number 2 and not probably have a case of the ass. I mean, right. He's probably having a poop panty party, boo-hoo party, and just having a hard time. As soon as they signed him, Pickens is probably shitting himself. He's not sitting there like Ryan Clark on his podcast. They asked him a question on a podcast. He's like, what? He was excited. Pickens is probably MFing everybody. He's not happy. All the other teammates probably ecstatic.
But who's he talking to mother F anybody? Because who's he hang out with? He doesn't probably hang out with anybody because he never shows up on
his baby mama saying, hey, listen.
His baby mama. Well, yeah. I just see that could make us potent because we need to get over 20-some points a game anyway. And that is the only way to keep in the NFL is having a good passing attack. But we need a quarterback. That's a missing Lego. This is like the one piece. You got the whole jigsaw and you're missing that one piece. And you can't put it together.
I think it's like Wrath of Khan. That quarterback is out there cloaked. We just don't know it. It's cloaked. We just don't know. It's gonna happen.
The bird of prey.
Like,
you know what though? It could be interesting because what Shane's saying is, there might be teams out there would give Pickens some, or give us some draft stuff back, and then we use all those picks for next year too, like you're saying, Bubba. So. As long as they have the receiver room that is up to scratch,
should get a number 1 for him though. I've seen every receiver that's been signed everywhere else, like AJ Brown and receivers like that, got a number 1. So if you give us a number 1 pick for George, see ya. Got to be a number 1 pick.
I don't know if I don't think because he was a round 2 pick. I don't know if he's going to get number 1 for Pickens, but he could be another team's receiver number 2 or receiver number 1. So I think the Steelers aren't, because they would have signed him already. They would have signed Pickens already if they thought they were like that invested into him. And then like Shane's saying, the big move from getting DK Metcalf is like, it's great, it's awesome, but Pickens must be a bit nervous or could be on the way out. That is one thing that's like in the eyes of the Steelers. But like you say, Bubba too, they don't have a quarterback. And the next few days, they're going to figure someone out who's going to be that situation.
By tomorrow,
fellas,
this time,
I'm going to give you guys, basically, to me, in the news right now, it really is these two players. So I want to try and ask your fellas' opinions on who they're going to choose. And I'll start with you first, please, Shane. Because right now it is Russell Wilson or Rodgers. No one else out of those two, who would you prefer to be the quarterback of the Steelers for 2025? Russ Wilson or A-Rod?
Okay, I'm first. As a Steelers fan, I would feel comfortable with Russ, and then they bring in Mason as like a backup. However, as a co-host of the Steelers Dynasty podcast and a shit stir from way back,
Yeah.
and a WVU alum and Pat Mack fan, give me Aaron Rodgers all day.
You want the
every
fire.
day.
You want the
I want it.
fireworks and things that happen. You want chaos.
Yes.
You want him saying something really stupid from the day dot and saying,
Crazy.
"Oh, actually, Warren, you're not that great."
Because here's
Something.
the thing. This is why I say that. Because end of the day, Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have the same amount of wins. You know, I don't think they're not going to, win the AFC, okay, with either of these two Yardbirds. But
Oh, you don't know that.
with both of these guys, the Steelers will be in a good position next year to get a quality quarterback if they don't get one in the draft this year.
Mhm. Fair enough. I do like your take though, because if Aaron Rodgers signs, there's I think half the fan base, what I see on the internet, doesn't want it to happen. Like
But they'll
myself.
come around.
Yeah, we have to. Then you have to. I supported Trubisky. That hurt me. Ugh, oy, oy. Double yoy.
Bubba, you both of you guys, listen here. I'm going to lay it down. that jackaloon, that jagoff Rodgers with his gray beard and his mushroom tripping, hippie ass, hippie non-vax guy. Guys, he's got
a better zip to the ball.
He wins 3 games. He wins 3 out of 4 games. Everybody's going to love him. Okay. Everybody's going to be just thinking he's the best. He splits. However, it's a thin line. He goes 2-2 and everybody's going to hate him. That's just it.
They hate everybody. Steeler fans are finicky. We're all finicky. We're crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Steelers got me stressed.
I mean, I years ago, and I could punch myself in the face and run out in traffic. I'm like, get rid of Bruce Arians. He's going to get Ben killed, this and that, get him out of here. And what's he do? He wins a Super Bowl, and me and my big mouth, I had to eat crow. And terrible. But this has never happened before in anything. This has never happened in the Steelers organization that they never had they only have 2 first and second string quarterback. They've never had this before. Even last year they had, quarterbacks.
When
They had
Bradshaw
Pickens.
retired, they
had Cliff Stout. They had Cliff Stout. They had Cliff Stout and Mark Malone because Malone was drafted in 1980.
Because
He was a high draft pick. He was the number 1 draft pick in 1980.
They had a real bad year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had quarterbacks they drafted, and then they traded for David. I mean, they got Woodley, they got Bobby Brister, Neil O'Donnell, Steve Bono. In the strike season, he was the greatest quarterback Steelers probably had. He was lighting them up in the strike season, so I got 2 options.
Wait, Bubba. Before I go to yours, before your pick, right? I want to go
Okay.
back to Shane with this because this makes a good point. Oh, Shane, where you going? Oh,
You
sorry, I thought you were leaving us.
Hydration.
All right, I want to go back to Shane because this Mike makes a really good point, and I want to hear Shane's perspective. The media had the Jets going to the Super Bowl with Rodgers. It will be interesting to see how they treat him as a Steeler. Will they say the Steelers going to the Super Bowl? Because that was true. They said, "Oh, one piece away."
I think they shot their load. They're not gonna go down that
Not that again.
hole again. No.
Okay.
They had a good
Also, here's
defense.
the other thing: the media does not like Rodgers because he didn't take the vaccine and he's a little
Right.
bit conservative. So right there, everybody's shitting on him now.
Yep.
So half of it is the media just leans towards that side of the political spectrum, and old Aaron Rodgers leans to the right. So right there, you have he's divisive. But if he can win 3 games, the Steelers fans won't care.
What, in September? So if he goes 3-1 in September,
Yeah, 3
everybody's
games
for
the whole season.
Yeah.
3-1 in September.
Okay.
The first 4 games, if he's 3-1,
If he goes 3 games the whole season, I'll be drinking a lot.
Right, so let's go to Bubba then. I think Bubba, if you got the choice here, if it is going to be, because it really just looks like now a 2-horse race that is either going to be bringing back Russell Wilson for 1 year, 2 year, or the idea is that Aaron Rodgers signs a 1 year or 2 year contract. Who do you have out of those two? You have to choose one or the other. And you can put your personal side, like what would be best for the team or whatever you say. But I think Shane said he's more leaning towards Rodgers would be the idea. I think.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
I'd rather see that because we saw Russ can have. Both these guys are the difference between one guy and the other might be one win, in my opinion.
The narrative too, the fact that Rodgers would be a Steeler and he beat us in that Super Bowl, that would be talked about forever too.
Yep.
That would be insane.
I'll be talking about it. I always do.
Who do you?
Well, it's very hard, and it all depends on money. Like I can't see us blowing our wad and signing him for $38 million, and I can't see Russ getting paid $38 million for a 1-year deal or whatever. I don't know. Like I don't want us blowing us all the money on the quarterbacks, and we have other parts of the puzzle that we need. Like, oh Jesus Christ!
What's the best fit for 2025?
Here's what I would think if this would happen. If we would have beat the Ravens in the playoff game, it'd have been Russ all day long because he got one playoff victory. Sign him. He got us one victory. Sign him and see what else he can do. Give him some more pieces and get that defensive line together and then go back to work. But that didn't happen. So Rodgers is going to want a lot of money. And he's going to take a lot of big hit on this cap that we have. And like they're restructuring TJ's contract. I just read, like I said before, and we need, hopefully maybe they sign a defensive lineman that's in free agency because they need something. And then they probably will sign a veteran running back. So, but Russ didn't do anything in those last 5 games. If he'd have won one of those games, I'd have been okay, but he didn't. And he had high stats, but we were behind most of the time. So that's why. So I would say if you could get Aaron Rodgers if Aaron would come in at a fair shake kind of a deal, like not losing and selling the farm. Mm-hmm. Say you got him for $35 million for a 2-year deal. I'm not good with money because that's why I'm always poor. So I would know, and I'm not Omar Khan. I would say out of the two, sign Rodgers because Rodgers is more accurate and just not a moon ball. He's friggin' accurate, and that's what we need.
Yeah, he's one of the. Unless I don't like the guy, he's one of the best quarterbacks ever play.
Yeah, and maybe in the middle of the field we could use that. And he also got something to prove too. He does. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers.
100% he does. Since the injury from the Jets and since the poor display last year, he had good TDs and whatnot. But
not that I'm going to go get a jersey or anything, but I'll go with. I never thought it would happen, but if it happens tomorrow at 4:00. Then I'm all in, and I can't get stressed out because we had Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. So, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. So you're both going Rodgers for that event because they are still linked to him.
What about you?
Well, what about me?
What about you?
Okay, so for me, I personally, I would prefer at this moment now that Fields is gone and the quarterbacks there's not many on the market. I would prefer to see Russell Wilson come back for a year or two and steady the ship and make it his team, his QB1, and then finish his career. I'd say then sign like a draft another quarterback below him, bring back Mason Rudolph to be the backup quarterback, and then get someone ready to take over in 2026 or 27 maybe. I think Russell Wilson is key because they brought in DK Metcalf. They've worked together. I think that's probably a real key piece where they can. And of course, he played here last year and things fell apart after 10-3, but he played really good football. We forget that. Forget that he was on fire, and we're all so excited, and our points went up. And transitioning from there was a point where Russell Wilson moved on from Justin Fields, and everyone loved it. Then he started losing, everyone hated it. So, but was the better quarterback out of those two. But then it all, everyone pissed their pants, and it was all over. When there was no Pickens in the team, there was no receivers. And Russell Wilson was getting beat up. I saw it happen in person with the Chiefs game. We saw him fumble it. So there were some bad times, but I think overall he's the better quarterback out of the two to take the Steelers where they need to be. And that could be the bridge guy or that guy to just settle the ship down for 2 years and have someone be there to be QB1. So my guy would be probably Russell Wilson and I just can't stand Rodgers is a great quarterback, and he does a lot of good. He's done like over 50,000 yards. He's played forever. I just don't like how the way he talks to the team, talks to coaches, and gets people fired, throws people under the bus. And I just don't think he would be a fit in Pittsburgh. And like Shane said, it would be quite funny though to see things happen where his press conferences or his laid back attitude, he'll be in Egypt where everyone's training. So that kind of stuff would be interesting. But yeah, I'm probably going to go with Russell Wilson. And I just saw this tweet too from Steelers Depot, and according to Rayfield Pardo from the what's that, PPG? You know what that is? Steelers waiting for an answer from QB Aaron Rodgers on Tuesday. Still have not received one yet. He says Rodgers decided between Steelers, Giants, or retirement. I kind of don't like that either.
So
where they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers.
Out of the three, it's the Steelers because the Giants don't have a team like the Steelers have.
That's why they brought in Metcalf, because they're trying to lure him in, make it more. We might not be able to give you 40 million, but we can give you these guys to throw to and 35. I mean, that's the conversations that are going on right now. Now answering working out with Parkinson's, super chat here. He said, do you think the O-line is good enough to lure Rodgers to make the leap? I think they are. They had a guy, that was playing, Jones, that was playing a position that's not his natural position because of injuries. McCormick's healthy.
That would be the youngest line he ever played with, probably, is our Steelers line.
Frazier is a future Hall of Famer if he can,
And Faitana is coming back. We haven't seen him play yet, but big guy from college.
They have a good line. The line is solid. It's, I would probably rate him a solid B.
Wow.
So,
okay. Yeah. See, I rank him a C+.
Yeah. That's not much.
I don't know if, to me, I just think Rodgers might be done in the sense of, like, he can throw the ball here and there, but once it breaks down, he's done. I saw him last with the Jets. He was terrible. I saw him games of getting sacked 4 or 5 times a game. And the offense can't get out of that.
We can't.
If
We're
beyond sticks, we can't get out of that. So I think you're better off with a more mobile Wilson. And that sounds funny because he's not as mobile either.
We're screwed.
So, but
I just seen Daniel Jones 1 year, $14 million. So Daniel Jones
for a backup
he's going to be Colts.
Colts backup. Yeah. Okay.
And then I seen the Colts #1 guy, Richardson, and Steelers can make a trade for him today.
Yeah, I don't know about
that. That guy quit on his team, and I wouldn't want him because he quit on his. I know George Pickens, he's got issues too, but every receiver is a diva anyway.
I do think Shane's right to a point when whatever happens, it's going to be crazy and exciting because if Rodgers does sign tomorrow a 2-year deal, we're going to go, holy fuck.
It's
right. We're going to go, holy crap, this happened. Now he's
you're going to be so mad when he gets signed. You, Mark, will be very upset, but you're going to ride, but you're not going to like it.
I'll do one angry rant, then I'll get over it. I'll move on.
Okay. That's how you are.
It won't ruin me where I'm at, like having breakfast going, damn, Rodgers, like making toast or whatever. I'm just like, it's
playing pickleball, and it was like, you're picking. Oh,
you're on the toilet having a bad shit, rocking back and forth, and you're talking to Jesus. You're just Aaron Rodgers.
Oh!
I just want the team, like you guys, I just want the team to win. And cheer him and see what happens. But I would prefer to see Wilson end his career or 2 years or whatever, then draft a quarterback and he learns from Wilson and Rudolph or something like that. That's the story. Not Rodgers come over, make it all about himself. He's going to make it all about himself, about him. Go on the Pat McAfee show. He's he'll
still be talking about the Steelers all the time on Pat.
He's going to be frustrated, I think, with the receivers and frustrated with players and coaches and this kind of stuff. Unless people in the locker room check him, like Kim, they check him and say, "Hey, calm down." We know he won't. They won't.
No one's going to check him. Even Tomlin won't check him. I don't know.
If the Steelers actually acquire Rodgers, we were visually at the end of Bizarro World. And we don't know what the Steelers are offering him. It's just all reports and rumors that he could be the choice. But what that tweet does make it sound like, though, it makes it sound like Rodgers is sitting back on his throne, waiting, and Steelers are waiting on the edge of a cliff.
Why would the Jets, Jets. Why would the Giants offer him anything? Because they're high in the draft. They can get one of these quarterbacks, and I think they're drafting in the first 5 rounds, top 5.
I don't know.
If they're in the top 5. They're going to get a quarterback.
Well, they've kind of shit the bed too because they got Tommy DeVito backup, but they need another vet quarterback as well. They pissed away Daniel Jones, what he was meant to be their guy, and he went to another team, two teams now. So I think maybe they need a vet quarterback in that sense. And then Rodgers is now being this hot topic, but I don't think he's that good of a quarterback that he used to be. And that's my kind of point is I don't think the Steelers would make that move. But however, at the same time, there's no quarterbacks to really choose from unless you go with a mid-tier quarterback that is like a Mason Rudolph or someone like that. And someone had suggested Kirk Cousins could be an option. That Atlanta still needs to release him, I think. So I just think we are in a bit of a whirlwind of like what direction they go, and not everyone's going to be happy.
And not everybody's a franchise quarterback. So even if you are a number one pick, that doesn't mean necessarily you're going to be coming in with, riding a wave. You're just not going to.
Gene says we're still alive. No,
Yeah.
That one ended yesterday. Imagine that.
No. Well,
that one ended.
Draft. But it all depends. After 4, we'll know. Tomorrow at this time, we'll have
tomorrow. Your show is good. I'm working tomorrow. I won't be on live tomorrow. I'm working at around this time, so you guys will probably go live and you'll see all the news, all the things happening.
It'll be down by tomorrow. After 2 months of waiting on a quarterback, we'll have a quarterback tomorrow.
Yeah, and working out says Olin says here. To be honest, AR did better towards the end of the season. Yeah, I just don't know if he did. That's great, but I just don't know if he fits. The Steelers.
And that's good. And no offense, that's good because the Steelers have petered out at the end of the season, last couple seasons. So, and back in the day, the Steelers were great in December. Now we are not, because the problem is we don't have the Steelers culture where we tape up and then nut up and then go beat people. It's not that way anymore. People and other teams are not afraid of us. They're not afraid of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't even have their chin straps tightened up to play the Steelers. They don't even strap them in because they just know the Steelers aren't the Steelers like they used to be.
Yeah, 100%. I don't see any more breaking news that is happening. Like, all I saw so far was Devin Bush was signed a 1-year contract for the Browns. Nothing else.
Aaron Rodgers expected to be released on Wednesday. 90.4 passer rated in 2024, his career lowest.
90.4 is his lowest.
That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that too.
What was Wilson's passing rating? Like
not 90.
78?
It was in that first that when we were 10-3, his passing rating was very, very good. And like I said before, and I'll stay on that mountaintop. When he fumbled that ball against the Ravens when we were there, was the start of it all. I'm telling you, it was just something freakiness happened.
I think the real question is, how do we get here that we are now in 2025 and we're deciding between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers? Is that kind of crazy?
Because they couldn't draft anybody as long as Ben was around.
Right.
Ben was the Achilles heel, and Ben cost him a lot.
Ben's the 15-foot alligator. There's no other alligators.
Wilson had 2,482 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 6.5 record as starting quarterback. I'm just watching it on the NFL.
Athens says 95.6 radio FM for Russ.
That's pretty good.
It sounds like. Yeah.
But that was Rodgers' lowest, was 90.4, his lowest ever. So he had to be high up.
Right. Fellas, we're going to end on a good note. We're not going to go for 3 hours a day because I'm a bit tired from yesterday. No. I think we're going to end it here soon because there's not too much more we can talk about besides something happening. But
if it happens, boom, we're breaking it.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes ago, you saw me get up, check behind the bush under my desk. There's no news.
Hasn't been signed, not from even from the bushes.
But yesterday was so busy. It
so
was
much
like
fun yesterday. So much fun.
Of Steeler news. Tomorrow will be the same way. Tomorrow
it was just catching up with everything happening, from Wolfley news and all this stuff going on, but all the just everything. I was like, we have to do a big show. So yeah, unless you guys got any final words, Bubba, we'll get out of here, man, because I appreciate it.
Tomorrow we have a quarterback, people. So tune in.
You reckon?
Tomorrow we're having I don't want to stake my life on it, but I guarantee we got a quarterback after 4:00 tomorrow.
Even if it's not Rodgers, they're going to sign.
If it's not Rodgers, if it's Wilson or Rodgers or somebody, tomorrow we have a quarterback because they've already been talking to whoever they're talking to, and
they just didn't need to release it.
Yeah, after 4, it's good because they got to use that money to get that quarterback because they got to use that money to sign some other key positions, especially that defensive line. I'm so heavy on this defensive line.
There might be a big frenzy tomorrow. There could be a few moves made, like not just quarterback. There could be a lot of people signing tomorrow.
Well, I'm telling you, Mark, if things don't work out, I think Tomlin went and talked to the guy that was singing Christmas songs on the corner. So they had him throw a few balls, and the jury's still out to see what he can do. He's a little small, but I don't know. I think they get him a good.
As long as he could do.
So what you're saying is it 4 p.m. is when they actually meant to start?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my 7 a.m. I might be up and maybe credit live at 8 or something if you guys want to come on or whatnot. We'll see how we go. But that's my 4 p.m. is my 7 a.m. in the morning.
If anything after 4 o'clock, if anything goes, I'll take my phone and I'll go Planet Fitness and I'll be at a goddamn union meeting tomorrow. You know what? If it goes at the union meeting, I'm running out of that building and then I'm going to cut a video.
That's so good.
Yeah.
We just got to kind of wait now, I guess, too, because this was a tampering period of 48 hours. A lot of things happening. And yeah, now it looks like we are down to Rodgers or Russell Wilson, and then maybe a Rudolph sighting in there too. Anything else, Shane, you want to add? Or we're good?
Well, if you're in the chat and you're a fan of Mark, you don't have to be a fan of us, but I'm asking you to go hit the subscribe button on Steelers Dynasty. We're 100 away. 100 away from getting Bubba a new arch support. Bubba, we're trying to buy Bubba arch supports, and the only way we can afford it is if we get 100 more subs.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
We're at 500. Yep. We're close to less than 30 away from getting a nice hat, which like I don't have right now. Like that hat that Shane got on his head, we'll be giving it away at 350. We're very close. And
I just put the link in the chat for you guys. So it's this one here. Maybe you can click that, but if you can't, it's Steelers Dynasty podcast. Check out Bummer and Shane. It's been a great show. We'll end it so other people can start from the very beginning and watch it again. Basically, we're just waiting. We're waiting for the QB to be excited, and then we can. Oh my goodness, this is what the Steelers are doing. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, thank you, Pepper says here. Thank you for hanging out with the HDU and Steelers Dynasty podcast tonight. Like and subscribe to both and Hooly Dooly. And also too, because your time changed, so mine changed as well. So it's like when you go live at 7, it's my 9 a.m. or something like that. So I miss everything. So I'm gonna wake up tomorrow going, what's happening? So I'm pretty keen. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, chat.
And hang on. He says Bubba and Shane suck. Oh, gee, what's going on? He said, you suck. Nah, nothing probably. Thank you, Tommy. And yeah, man, we'll get out of here. I do love that. That Pepper normally this normally ends the show. If we go too long and start talking about burgers again, that ends the show. I always wait for that. I try and wait for that when she's in here. So let's get out of here.
She runs a tight ship.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, you don't mess, and Gene's joking too. Don't mess with Pepper. Never, ever, ever. All right, let's get out of here. Let's play
the singer.
You want to play the singer?
Yeah.
No, I haven't got it. Let's play B-Mac. I see
the road to New Orleans will start in a few months. Let's get ready for the ride. Gas up the cars, baby. Let's get to New Orleans. Gas it up. Let's go.
Hey, thank you, B-Mac, mate. I'll see you all later. As always, here we go, Steelers.
Here we go.